Hello and welcome to another anime lore and theory video. I'm Shergok, your host, and today we are going to take a closer look at how and why Ainz Ooal Gown could capture Platinum Dragonlord and which tools he could potentially use in order to achieve this. But before we're going to take a closer look at any of this, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, as well as a thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And with that said, let's get to the topic at hand. Titus Annaeus Secundus is the chief librarian of the Great Tomb of Nazarick, and much like the term librarian in Warhammer 40k, which refers to a space marine with exceptional knowledge and arcane warp powers, indicates an arcane literacy and proficiency, Titus Annaeus Secundus is also a magic user. And this skeletal mage didn't just look like a fusion of a human and various animal bones all blended together, cloaked in a crimson robe that made him appear as death incarnate. He was very much such a type of being. But his interest was far more than just spreading death and disease and misery to all of the living, so that they might join him. Analytical, persistent, and always striving to understand what holds the world together at its core, he also in that way bore a certain resemblance to Fluda Paradane, the triad wizard of the Empire, or rather now of the Sorcerer Kingdom. However, instead of burning with intense passion for magic, Titus dissected the magic of the New World with surgical precision. And the magic system of this new world had several unique twists and originalities that presented Nazarick with entirely new challenges, something very unknown to them until very recently: weakness. For months, the skeletal mage at that point had been struggling, mostly unsuccessfully, to address a supply shortage within Nazarick. Although low-tier scrolls like those for the message spell could now be mass-produced, enabling long-distance communication without severe limitations in time, place, and frequency, crafting more powerful scrolls remained far beyond Nazarick's capabilities, because no matter how many times Titus tried, he couldn't merge the inferior materials of the New World with the powerful spells of the Great Tomb. Their magical might was too overwhelming, and the strength and arcane essence of the two-legged sheep, whose hides were used for these scrolls, were too weak to contain Nazarick's immense and awesome power. As a result, spells of the first, second, and occasionally, if the material was particularly high quality for the New World, third-tier spells could be sealed into scrolls and used later by non-magic users of the Sorcerer Kingdom and of Nazarick. However, the most powerful spells remained too potent. Whenever a floor guardian like Mare tried to imbue his magic into these raw materials, they would simply burn to ash. In Nazarick's throne room, Ainz Ooal Gown had observed the battle between his personally created NPC, Pandora's actor, and the Platinum Dragonlord through his mirror of remote viewing. And he was on one hand surprised by how much he learned and how many secrets this mysterious knight, who introduced himself as Riku Aganea, actually held. And Ainz and Pandora's actor also noticed, based on how motionless, how robotic, and how painless the warrior fought, that he wasn't physically present, but that his armor was being remotely controlled. And just like his weapons, the armor seemed to be animated by an outside source. However, this was something Ainz alone couldn't fully understand. In other words, Ainz Ooal Gown planned to intentionally lose to this warrior yet again, to gather enough information for a proper and final battle against him later. Yet this third fight might not happen, because the disinformation strategy Pandora's actor had employed worked all too well, because in the eyes of the Platinum Dragonlord, Ainz might not even be a player, but merely an NPC. So even though Platinum sensed Ainz was stronger than he expected, he was convinced he could defeat Ainz Ooal Gown with his true body, unaware that Ainz and his undead forces were far stronger than he initially thought, and that Ainz was immune to the Dragon Lord's wild magic, a fact that would severely hinder Platinum, at least normally. Because in other words, Ainz Ooal Gown might be facing an unexpectedly difficult battle in the second real encounter, even with his world item equipped, because we know that Platinum has already eliminated players before, and if my theory is correct, that every player or player group arrived in the new world with at least one world-class item, then it is indeed possible that Platinum could bring more world items to the battle than Ainz Ooal Gown would have. Because while Platinum might show up with 3 or 4 of them, Ainz will likely only have his Red Orb with him. And this could severely disadvantage the Overlord, because Ainz uses world items to counter wild magic and other world-class items. And this could give Platinum the opportunity to attack Ainz with wild magic and his wild magic spells, which are quite potent, while Ainz' world-class item is currently used to counter Platinum's other world-class items. And Platinum is also certainly not foolish enough to accept an invitation to join the Sorcerer Kingdom, so in other words, a surprise attack, at least to this very method, is ruled out. Furthermore, Platinum might not fight alone, but he could bring the other 4 Dragon Lords of Arkland into battle, just to be safe. Because after all, he has already lost a battle once, because he underestimated Ainz Ooal Gown's power. And overestimating his opponent, on the other hand, would have no severe consequences, except for unnecessary travel costs and flight time, which aren't significant for a dragon. So we can assume that Platinum will fight with everything he has, and that will make it extremely difficult for Ainz to defeat him, let alone to capture him. However, Ainz not only has his own powerful summons like a Death Emperor or a Grim Reaper Thanatos, which could at least keep the other dragons that Platinum will bring at bay, but he also possesses a world-class item, the Red Orb embedded into his very body, that could be more valuable than just the mere number that it has, than just being a protection against wild magic and other world-class items, because this orb has many abilities, and we know that one of them is effective against dragons. All dragons, it seems. And his orb greatly resembles an item from Dungeons & Dragons called the Orb of Dragonkind, an artifact that summons all chromatic dragons within a 40-kilometer radius to its user. In other words, it exerts a kind of mental control over dragons. And there's also another similar artifact, the Dragon Orb, used to imprison chromatic dragons. And this artifact is immune to all forms of magic, but weak to physical attacks, which could also explain why a story change had taken place compared to the web novel. In the web novel, Robert Dyke, a strong battle-hardened priest, struck the Red Orb of Ainz with his steel gauntlet at full force, but only the gauntlet shattered. However, in the anime and light novel, this scene didn't happen, and Ainz had to stop Razor Edge before it could reach his Red Orb. And the Overlord suspected that Razor Edge could actually destroy world items, or at the very least his own, which is interesting because it suggested that this orb is indeed like the dragon orbs I have just mentioned, and not as indestructible as in the web novel, and that could also imply that it potentially could capture or control dragons. And it's possible that, similar to how Downfall of Castle and Country was used to place Sheltier Bloodfallen under mind control, Ainz Ooal Gown's Red Orb, being a powerful world item, could dominate dragons if they are weak enough. In other words, the Red Orb could act like a Pokeball. And we know that the weaker the beings in the New World become, the more vulnerable they are to mind control, because Lakius was able to resist even after being poisoned and stabbed in the sides, despite not wearing armor, and despite facing Evil Eye, one of the 13 heroes who actually tried her very best to put her under mind control. But after she was further weakened, Evil Eye could indeed place her under such a spell. In other words, just like a Pokémon, Platinum must first be weakened before Ainz Ooal Gown could potentially capture him. But with the help of Drain Touch, an undead skill that allows Ainz to steal his enemy's life force, to heal himself, and to boost his stats, the Overlord has yet another powerful tool in his hands to capture Platinum during the battle. And then the question remains whether Ainz would even be motivated to capture Platinum. Now, personally, I think that based on how he has already subjugated the Frost Dragons, the Quagoa, the Lizard Men, how he has basically vassalized the Empire without even trying, and even captured members of the Sunlight Scripture, Ainz would likely want to invite such a powerful dragon as Platinum into Neuronist Painkill's chambers. With Platinum Dragonlord imprisoned in the depths of Nazarick, probably guarded by Rubedo, the 8th floor hierarchy, or a whole array of powerful beings, Platinum would have his skin, his bones, and his blood harvested repeatedly to satisfy Nazarick's hunger for arcane materials. And this would likely be the main reason why Platinum would be captured alive. However, there's another very compelling reason why not only Titus Aeneas Secundus might be interested in the Platinum Dragon. The magic of the New World still holds many secrets, and we know that wild magic can nullify other wild magic spells, and we also know that Nazarick's 11 world-class items are immune to these draconic magic, and are likely crystallized wild magic, for all that we know. But there are still so many mysteries surrounding this type of magic. To this day, we don't know how this actually connected to the world-class items, or why wild magic negates other wild magic. In other words, Titus likely has other interests in the Platinum Dragon, as would Ainz Ooal Gown. The undead Overlord is a collector of rare items and artifacts, and nothing would please him more than finding a way to seal the Platinum Dragon's magic into new items. And this could potentially allow him to create entirely new world items. Something that would be a fate worse than death for Platinum. Not only would he suffer unbearable torments, but his body and magic would serve the very Yggdrasilian invaders he vowed to fight to his last breath. So that's my theory on why the Great Tomb of Nazarick might not only be interested in eliminating the Platinum Dragon, but would also go to the trouble of capturing him alive. And with that said, now it's your turn. What's your opinion on the capture of Platinum? Do you think Ainz Ooal Gown will manage to capture him, or do you believe that due to Platinum's immense strength, Ainz will have to fight him with everything he has, and won't even have the luxury of controlling him once he's weakened, since he can't hesitate not one single second? Again, let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section, and while you type, I want to thank my viewers and my channel members for their amazing support, and with that said, also please check out my German channel, and if you don't want to listen to my voice or accent, but are still interested in the things I have to say, I have made an AI channel narrated by almost a woman, where I use AI voiceovers for my videos, and the channels are all linked down in the video description. Also please check out my Patreon if you want to support me beyond just leaving a like or sub, and with that said, I say thank you very much for watching, thanks to my Patreons for supporting this channel, and as usual, I say my special thanks to Order Daddy Order, ASK, Bad Girl Yee, Bad Burrito 316, Beezer, Ben C, Brandon S, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Din Pep, Dragonlord Placido Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feralchivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Haster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Le Louche Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Lofrazer, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, Oh Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantum, Personage, Ruru, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Q&A Caracos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Sir Axolotl, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rocket Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenokai, and Sonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.